lesson. You're watching the last lesson in volume. This unit's relatively short because volume is relatively easy when you're working with simple 3D shapes like prisms and triangular prisms and cylinders because the calculation is relatively small. So in this last part of the lesson, in this unit, we're going to be talking about types of problems that I will ask you, right? So you'll be working with different word problems where you will have to either construct or solve the 3D shape. So with volume, you will run into word problems that combine different 3D shapes. Basically, you will get 3D shapes that aren't normal prisms or normal cylinders, and you will have to recreate that shape and calculate the volume. So let's take a look. An example here is, what is the volume of a triangular prism with a base of 7 centimeters, a width of 3 centimeters, and a hypotenuse of 25 centimeters? So on your own, try and solve this, see what you can do. Now, the important thing here is to recreate the shape. Don't be lazy. Don't try and solve it in your mind's eye. Draw the shape out. It will help you. Okay? So try and draw that shape out, then calculate its volume. Right? So we have a length of 7, a width of 3, and a hypotenuse of 25. So you should know what kind of triangle we're making because we have the word hypotenuse. That's a hint. So take a second, try and solve it, pause the video, and we'll move on from there. All right, hopefully you paused it. We're going to move forward. So first, draw the shape. Add the important information. It doesn't matter if your triangle is to scale or even correct, to be honest. You could have drawn a triangle like this, right? It doesn't matter as long as you put the correct information on. So we draw the shape and put the right information. So we look at our question. We have a base length of 7. Okay, so we have a base length of 7, right? A width of 3, right? A width of 3, so it's either this line or this line. You can put it anywhere. And a hypotenuse of 25. So we know that this line is 25. So using the information you already know and the shape you've created, you should be able to calculate the volume of this prism. But there's some information missing, right? How do I calculate the volume of a triangular prism? Well, I need to find the area of the triangle and stretch it across there. Well, I know the width, so I'm multiplying the area of the triangle by 3 because that's what the width is, right? But how do I find the area of the triangle? So if I were to draw this shape, right, that's the triangle. We know that this is 7. You know that this is 25. Well, the area of any triangle is base times height divided by 2. Do I know the height? Common mistake will be to use this as a height. But remember, height is straight up and down. This is the height. But we don't know that, right? We don't know what that is. How can we solve for it? Well, if you remember from our previous lessons, this is a right triangle. In a right triangle, you can find any missing side by using the equation a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Right? And so all you'd have to do is put in the missing pieces. So how do we calculate volume? But can we calculate the volume? No, because we do not have the prism's height, only the length and width. So we need to solve for that. Well, from the information, let me fix that. From the information, we can find the height. We know this. We can use Pythagorean theorem, right? A squared plus b squared equals c squared. We're trying to find the area of this triangle because the area of this triangle times the width gives me the volume. So I know that c must be 25 because c is always the hypotenuse. H we'll say is b, height, whatever it is. And 7 is a, 7 squared, right? So then I substitute it in. 7 squared, h squared, 25 squared is 625. Then I want the h squared by himself, so I minus 49 on both sides. Minus 49 on both sides. And now you end up with h squared equals 625 minus 49. Right? So you have h squared minus 625 minus 49. And then you square root both sides because you have h squared and you just want h. Well, once you get this, you square root 576. And you'll get the number 24. So now you know the height is 24 centimeters high. So using that, you can calculate the volume of the prism. It's base times height times width divided by 2. Or you find the area of the triangle, base times height divided by 2, times the width, which gives me 252 centimeters cubed, because this is what I did. I found out that this was 24. So I find the area of this triangle, like so, right? I find the area of this triangle, base times height, right? 7 times 24. So I go 7 times 24, 168. So I know that the area let me double check, because I don't think I divided by 2. So 7 times 24, yeah, 168, and then you divide by 2, which will give you an area of 84. So we know that our triangle, the triangle's area is 84 centimeters squared. Now once you have the area of the triangle, you stretch it across that width, and you know that that's 3. So you multiply that by 3. Right? 252 centimeters cubed. So that's how you calculate the volume of this problem. So let's try a hard question. You have a prism with a height of 25 centimeters, a width of 25 centimeters, and a length of 30 centimeters. Inside the prism is a cylinder with the same length and a diameter of 8 centimeters. What is the volume of the prism without the cylinder? Right? So what you want to do is, again, draw your prism, and it doesn't have to be perfect, right? You can just draw anything you'd like as long as you put the correct information in the correct spots. So we know we have a height of 25, right? So we put 25 as the height up and down here. We know we have a width of 25, so you put the 25 here. And you know we have a length of 30, right? So if this was just the question, the volume would be very easy. It would be 30 times 25 times 25, and that would be the volume of this prism. However, we have a cylinder inside our prism. And again, it doesn't even have to be pretty. Just drawing it out helps you. I'm actually going to make this a bit bigger because it'll be hard to see. It doesn't even have to be a good drawing, right? You have a cylinder inside. This helps you draw the shape, and it helps you visualize it. Well, we know that the length of the cylinder matches the length of our prism. And we know that it has a diameter of 8, right? So once we do this, we'll get something along this. Something easier to see, something easier to work with. All right, well, I want to find the volume of the prism without the cylinder. So basically, I'm going to take the cylinder out. Well, how would I find its volume? Well, what I would do is, just like before, I would find the volume of the prism. So it would be 25 times 25 times 30. So we get 18,750, whatever, centimeters cubed, right? So you know that this is the volume of the prism with the cylinder inside. Now once you take the cylinder out, the volume shrinks, right? There's a hole in it. Well, the volume that's missing is equal to the volume of the cylinder. So once you take the cylinder out, you've lost that volume. So you find the volume of the cylinder. Well, we know we have a diameter of 8, so we have a radius, right? A radius of 4. So you find the area of the cylinder by getting the area of the circle and stretching it by the length or height, right? So I have 4, so it's pi r squared times the height. So pi 4 squared, right, is 16. So 16 times pi times height. That looks like a plus. There we go. Right? So I take that, and I go 16 times 3.14, right, times, well, the length is 30. 30 gives me 1507. So 1,507, 7.2. All right? So this is the volume of our cylinder. Well, let's just subtract it from that. So you take this, 1507, 1507.2. So I take 18750 minus 1507.2. And our area is 17,242.8. So 17,242 centimeters, 0.8 centimeters cubed. All I did was find the volume of the prism, the volume of the cylinder, and then subtract the cylinder out because we're taking the cylinder out. So try these word problems on your own. They are challenging, but they will help you understand volume a bit better and allow you to apply it in different ways. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you next lesson.